Hi, brothers and sisters. This is Mary with Genesis Kingdom. So first of all, I want to say shalom, shalom, good morning. And I said a quick prayer for you, but I pray for you all, not just his children, but for the whole world and the whole nations. And I hope this message continues to open your eyes. Therefore, I named the title, What Do You See? Why are you blinded by the light? And let me explain what it means. I started reading Job 1 and I have read it, but now God has given me the wisdom and the knowledge, and so I come able to receive the message and go ahead and send it out to you as the Holy Spirit has spoken to me, because it's speaking to me now more. It's always been, but now it's like, whoa, it's the wisdom that I have gotten. And the wisdom is the power of God. Now, Job 1. It says, in a land of Uz, they lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God, and he shunned evil. He had 7 sons, 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 donkeys, and he had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. His son used to hold feasts in their homes and in their on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job had an arrangement for them to be purified. Early in the morning that he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. But this was Job's regular custom. One day the angel came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. That's the accuser. So remember, everything you do, there's somebody, and it's not just your enemies, it's also Satan, that he snares that trap, he snares that net. If you get sucked in, it's because you're not listening. Now let me tell you, the real enemy is not us, it's him down there, because he's in hell. Now it says, Satan answered to the Lord, from roaming through the earth, going back and forth on it. The Lord said to Satan, it says, have you considered my servant Job? He said, there is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, and a man who fears God and shuns evil. Does Job fear God if he goes for nothing? Satan said. Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed him in the work of his hands, so his flocks and the herds, and they spread throughout the land. It says, but now stretch out your hand and strike him everything that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. And this is Satan telling God. The Lord said to Satan, very well, then everything that he has is in your power. But on the man himself, do not lay a finger. Remember, Satan went out from the Lord in the presence of the Lord. And just know he takes that job in a heartbeat. He will even get rid of his minions. They don't mean nothing to him. They're disposable to him just like we are. And mainly, he has a hey when it comes to us, his children and the Gentiles. We are nothing to him. If his minions aren't and they're doing his work, what makes you think that you're worth something to him? You're not. But if you're sinning, he got you. One day, when Job's son and the daughters were feasting and drinking wine, the eldest brother's house, the messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabines attacked, and they made off with them, and they put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one that escaped to tell you. And this is a servant that was with his children, right? While he was still speaking, another messenger came to him and it said, the fire of God fell from the heavens, and they burned up the sheep, the servants, and I am the only one who escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came to him and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties, and they swept down on your camels and made off with them, and they put the servant to the sword, and I am the only one to escape to tell you. And this is just back to back. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came, and he said, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine, and the oldest brother's house, at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in the desert and struck the 4 corners, but of the house it collapsed, and on them they are dead. And I am the only one who escaped to tell you. At this, Job got up, and he tore his robe, and he shaved his head, and he fell to the ground in worship, and said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord takes away. It says, may the name of the Lord be praised. In all of this, Job did not sin by charging God with the wrongdoing. And what does that mean? It means, at any point, I'm going to tell you this, never envy. I was raised. It was rooted in me. It's like, what are you teaching your kids? It was rooted in me as a young little girl, when we used to get made fun of because we didn't have the name brand stuff. And I remember I used to cry to my mama, and I used to tell her, because I would beat them up. And my mama would say, Rebecca, she's all like, what are you doing, mija? And I said, oh, they're making fun of me. And she said, so I beat them up. And she said, you don't do that. And I said, well, they were being mean. And she said, be content with what God gives you, and I she rooted that in me since I've always been happy. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. An old friend of mine, his name is Gobble, but I call him Gobbler. And he had said, he goes, Becky, he saw, you really are happy. He said, it's my other AKA, just so you know. She said, you really are happy. I was reborn again, just saying. He said, you really are happy being poor. I go, I didn't know I was supposed to be miserable. I never was. I always felt rich, even with my grandma. I felt rich because we were happy, So I wasn't raised like everybody else that you envy or you get with somebody just to get a lottery come up or because your struggles. And I lived by it until now. I still did. Not once did I envy somebody for what they had. I think nails one time, that's it. Whoa. You know what I'm saying? And have always been content. And in this race, you got to understand, if God bless you, remember to bless forward. Remember to bless forward. And I'm going to explain that in here as far as in what Job says. If for us that we were out there in the wilderness, and for the people that are out here in the world, it's like, what do you see? And I'm going to get to that to explain what is it that I seen while we were walking through the wilderness. I'm going to do Job 2. It says, on another day, the angels came up to present themselves before the Lord. Satan also came, it says, with them, and he presented himself before him. The Lord said to Satan, where do you come from? Satan answered the Lord and said, from roaming through the earth and going back and forth from it. Back and forth. Because hell is his pit. But he's coming back and forth to the earth, back and forth. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? This is part 2. And then, there is no one on earth like him, and he's blameless and upright, and a man who fears God and shuns evil, but still maintains his integrity. And though you incite me against him to ruin him without any reason. The enemy says this, and if you know somebody, believe me, I learned the hard way. This is Satan replied to God. He said, skin for skin. Just remember that, because I heard it. He said, skin for skin. Satan replied and said, a man will give all he has for his own life. But now stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he shall surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, "Very well." Then he said, "In your hands, but you must spare his life." So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with a painful sores from the soles to his feet to the crown of his head. Job took a piece of the broken pottery and he scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity?" She said, "Curse God and die." He replied, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Should we accept the good from God and not the trouble?" All this, Job did not sin in what he had said. When Job's three friends, Eliphaz and Temanite, and Bildad, a Shunite, and Zophar, and Nehemite, he heard about this trouble. Actually, it was three friends. I thought it was four friends, but the troubles that he had come upon him. They set out from their homes to meet together in the agreement to go and sympathize with him, and they comfort him. And then they saw him from a distance, and they could hardly recognize him. They began to weep out loud, and they tore their robes, and they sprinkled dust on their heads, and they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. No one had a word from him, because they saw on how great his suffering was. So for the 7 days, his friends came to mourn with him, right? I'm going to read Job 3, and then I'm going to skip up a couple of them and to basically talk about what I mean blinded by the light, Job 3, it says, "After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day that he was birthed. He said," not once did he curse God, never. It says, "May the day of my birth perish. And in the night," he said, "a boy is conceived, the day that may turn to darkness. May God above not care about it. May no light shine on it. May gloom and utter darkness claim it once more. May a cloud settle over it. May blackness overwhelm it. The night may be thick in darkness and seize it. May it not be included among the days of the year, but not enter into any of their months. May the night be barren. May no shout of joy be heard. And those that curse the day, curse that day. For those that are ready to rouse in Leviathan," remember that little demonic giant? He says, "May the morning star become dark. May it wait for the daylight in vain and not see the first rays of dawn." It says, "It did not shut the doors of the womb on me. It hid trouble from my eyes. Why I not perish at birth and die as I came from the womb? Why are we on our knees to receive me?" He says, why were their knees to receive me, and breasts that I may be nursed? For now I would be lying down in peace, and I would sleep at rest. With kings and rulers of the earth who build themselves in the place and now lying in ruins. With princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Oh, why I was not hidden away from the ground like a stillborn child, like an infant who never saw the daylight of day, the wicked that ceased from turmoil, but the weary they are at rest. Captives also enjoyed their ease. There's no longer here from the slave diver's child. The small and the great are there. Are the slaves are freed from their owners? Why is the light given to those in misery? To those who long for death, and it does not come, who searches for more than he hideth treasures, who are filled with gladness and rejoices when they reach the grave. Why is life given to a man whose ways are hidden, whom God has hedged in? For sighing has become a daily food, like kind of like you're sighing, like, wow. My groans pour out like water. What I fear has come upon me. What I dreaded has happened to me. I have no peace, no quietness. I have no rest, but only turmoil. Now, as the chapters go on, and it's really for you to go more into detail, and this basically starts with his friends. Pretty much it's like cursing, you know, like saying, well, you're God ain't answering you. It's kind of like the mockery that I have heard. I'm going to say mine because I don't know my other brothers and sisters' stories. But kind of like the mockery. Well, where's your God? Who's going to bring it to? Who's going to fix it? Who's going to do this? Where's your God? We don't want to hear it. You know, those are the mockers that, you know, you encounter. And he had his friends, you know, his best friends that went and they mourned with him for 7 days. They ripped their clothes. It's a thing that they did, you know, to show mourning, you know, for the people, you know, and his friends started going back and forth with him. So I jump to the part where I'm saying blinded by the light. So it starts with Job 21, and basically it's going back and forth, okay? But Job answered back, and this is them going back. He said, but he answered and said, hear diligently my speech. Let this be your consolation. Suffer me that I may speak after I have spoken. I have spoken and mocked on. As for me, is my complaint to men. It is worse so. Why should I not, my spirit, be in trouble? Why shouldn't it be in trouble? Mark me and be astonished. I lay your hands upon your mouth. Even when I remember that I am afraid, I tremble and taken a hold of my flesh. Wherefore do the wicked live and become all, and they're mighty in power. Their seats is established in the sight of them, and their offsprings before their eyes. Because remember, his children have died. So he's mourning from that, you know, he's speaking, you know, but then you see the wicked, you know, conquering, you see in his eyes, you see them, that they're making it, they grow old, and we're talking evil doers, you know, that you see them getting old, you see them having kids, you see them doing that. And there's an answer for that too, you know. What are you doing? What is it that you see in this world? If you don't see what is going on right in front of you, you're spiritually blinded. You're not seeing the wickedness that is right in plain sight. But God is doing it. You see it going on around in the world, and you can't tell me that you don't see it. And you know why he's doing it is to open the eyes of the world, because we are at the end times, and he doesn't want to leave you behind. And this next journey that we're going to is taking territory of our land for the living only, because he's the God of the living, not the God of the dead. Now it says their houses are safe from fear, but neither is the rod of God upon them. Their bull gendered, and they felleth not. Their cow claveth, and they casted not her calf. They send forth the little ones like flock in their children's dance. They take the timbrel and the harp, and they rejoice the son of the organ. They spend the days in wealth, and the moment they go to the grave. But therefore they say unto God, depart from us, that we desire no knowledge of thy ways. And it's true. We get shunned. We get called misfit. We get called different. But different is good, because that means we're doing right. You know, like I think I had heard one of the girls say, you know, the enemy doesn't care about your feelings. It was never about the enemy, sister. It was never about the enemies. It's about you. It's about you and this whole world. That's what I care about. And I want you to see it, and it's a pure, clean heart. I don't care what the enemy thinks. I'm not worried about him. My Father has him. I have you, and he sent me here to deliver a message to you for you to open your eyes. What is the Almighty that we shall serve him? What profit should we have if we pray unto him? Lo, there is good. This is there is good is not in their hands. There's no good in their hands. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. How oft is the candle of the wicked put off? How oft cometh the destructions upon them? How disturb the sorrows of his anger? They are stubbled before the wind, as the shaft that they are stormed that carrieth away. God lieth upon the iniquity of his children. He rewarded him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destructions. He shall drink the wrath of the Almighty. For what pleasure had he in his house after him? And when the number of the months is cut off in the midst, shall any teach God knowledge? Seeing that he's judged, those are the high. One dieth in full strength, but being wholly at ease are quiet. His breasts are full of milk, his bones are moistened with marrow. Another dieth in bitterness of his soul, and never eateth with pleasure. They shall lie down alike in the dust, the worm shall cover them up. Behold, I know your thoughts, and the devices in which you had wrongly imaged against me. For ye say, where is the house of the prince? Where are the dwelling place of the wicked? Have you not asked them, go by the way, but do ye not know their tokens? The wicked is reserved in the day of distractions. They shall be brought forth in the day of the wrath. So shall declare this way in his face, and shall repay him and what he had done. He shall be brought to the grave, and he shall remain in the tomb. The clods of the valley shall be sweet unto him. Every man shall draw after him. And is there any innumerable before him? How then comfort you me in vain, seeing in your answers and remaining in the falsehood? You know? And I'm going to go into some of it about as far as Job. You know, he's saying, you know, I could be bitter with God, because he's not understanding, what did I do? Satan said, well, of course he's gonna love you. Of course he's gonna praise you. You have a hedge around him. He's blessed everywhere you are. So why wouldn't he? Right? So God said, okay, it's a test. Everything is a test. Does it hurt? Yes. Does it hurt? Yes. But what God gives, God takes away. And he wants to know, are you purpose chasing? Or are you paper chasing? Do you want that Luda? Or do you see him as a lottery come up? Or are you serving because you really care to save the world? Because you really want to be a world changer? What is it that you're doing? What is it that you see? Is it because you want that crown? We already have it. We already have it. Are we blessed beyond our imagination? Yes, we are. But on that journey, how many souls are you saving to bring to the kingdom of the land of the living? How many people are we bringing to the land of the living? That is what he's asking. That is what he's asking. It's that kind of world changer, that kind of queen that you're going to be, that kind of king that we already are. And on this journey, he's asking, what is it that you're seeing? What is it that you're doing? Are you serving? Are you serving? Are you doing? Are you digging ditches? Are you saving souls on your way into the promised land? Because how many are coming with us? How many are journeying on to this next dimension with us in the land of the living? That is what he means. You know, it's that what is it that you're doing? You know? We're not getting anything here because it's not here. But if you got blessed, there's people out there that need to see somebody that is the light in the world. Are you being that world changer? Are you putting that money in your pocket? Because he's testing you. He's testing you. Are you serving me just for the money? Or are you serving me for that? And Job hadn't done nothing. But God said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. You know, and that's what Job says. I have every reason to feel the way I feel. You know, it's normal. Don't let people be like, come on, why are you feeling like that? No, understand. You have every right to feel like that because we are treated different. We do stand out different, but different is okay because we're serving the kingdom of God. So if you call that different, then sister, come and talk to me. Then brother, come and talk to me because I could tell you I was once in darkness, but he brought me to the light. And I'm not here to point fingers at nobody, but I'm here to tell you that I was there and he brought me to his light and he saved my soul. He could do it for you. And you're the world changer. It starts here. It doesn't start when we already got all the blessings and all that. How many people are we bringing into the land of the living, flowing with milk and honey? You know, it's the new paradise, heaven on earth. It is going to be heaven on earth. The only difference is getting rid of the darkness. He's doing that. He's winging out the people that want to stay and serve the darkness. And trust me, he's going to fight for your soul. But who are you going to give that victory to? The darkness? Because it already wants you. So if you continue going back, then he has you. But put up a fight and talk to God, our Father Jehovah. Talk to him and tell him, I don't want to sin against you. Whatever trials and tribulations they come, drop to your knees. And you know what? When you see an enemy, it's because your light disturbs them. Pray for them and smile, because you have every reason to smile. You've been saved. You've been saved. And they see your light. They see my light. You know, do we get feelings here and there? Of course, we got bumps and bruises. You know, but you know what has always been my, get up and go, is that King Jesus didn't stop on that cross. And he died did you hear him once say, I quit? Did he? So what should you? Because you're not wearing fancy cars, wearing rings, Gucci, what is it? And really, if you think about it, wearing name brand from this world, do you think that's something to show off? Nothing, I'm saying nothing bad towards you, Gucci. I'm talking about the ones that are demonic. Only God knows, and I'm not here to judge. But meaning, if you're going to get clothed with something right. That is righteousness. That is his light. And no, he knows that we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to be bougie. Look, I'm a daughter of the Most High God, and I represent heaven, and I am already clothed. He clothed me with everything, his light. He crowned me with his satisfied love and mercy. He had mercy on me. His mercy and grace. And everything is a test. Are you still going to do it while you don't have it? While you don't have that husband? While you don't have that wife? While you still haven't had that baby? While you still haven't had those promises? The promises are there. But on that journey to that, we're saving souls. We're taking them home with us. New heaven, the new earth, that kingdom come. Don't wait for that door to be shut. It's going to be too late. Then their blood is in your hands if you weren't able to stop and tell somebody. Make a difference on the way there. Don't wait until we're there. What for? We had a chance to be a world changer now and save that soul. So what if somebody tells you, no, you know what? I don't want to hear it. Okay, well, God bless you, and you walk away. You made that attempt. Don't be embarrassed. Don't deny him. He didn't deny us on that cross. I'm going to close it up with part 2 video, and I think it's just the one that will explain about blinded by the light. But I send many blessings, and I hope this message reaches you in your heart and your soul, and that it continues to transform you into the godly person he created you to be. Us as high priests, of course, we have to live it to the fullest, and I accept that revelation by faith. And for those that are going into the land of the living with us, it's the 10 commandments. The only difference is there can be no darkness, but Jesus loves you and I love you. Shalom, shalom.